Getting ready to file your taxes might feel like a big task, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. The key is knowing what documents you need to have on hand. Whether you're filing on your own or sitting down with a tax professional, having everything organized ahead of time can save you time, stress, and potentially even money. Today, we'll walk through the main categories of documents you'll want to gather and why they're important. Keep in mind, how much effort this process takes can depend a lot on your personal financial situation. For example, if you're single and renting, your prep might be pretty straightforward. On the other hand, if you're married, self-employed, own a home, and have kids, there's going to be a bit more to organize. First, let's talk about personal information. This is the foundational stuff that you'll need no matter how simple or complex your taxes are. Make sure you have social security numbers for yourself, your spouse if applicable, and any dependents. You'll also want your bank account details, like account and routing numbers, especially if you're planning on getting your refund by direct deposit. If you filed taxes last year, keep a copy of both your federal and state returns handy. They're great for reference and can help you avoid missing anything important. And if you're working with a tax preparer for the first time, don't forget to bring a photo ID and any other personal details for everyone listed on your return. Next up are income documents, which prove how much money you earned during the year. The most common one is the W-2 form that your employer is required to send you by January 31st. If you had more than one job, you'll get a W-2 from each employer. These forms summarize your earnings and show how much tax was already withheld. But income isn't always limited to traditional jobs. If you earned interest on a savings account, did contract work, or received other types of payments, you might have 1099 forms to account for. For example, 1099 INT covers interest income, and 1099 MISC is for non-employee compensation. Keep in mind that the IRS already has a record of these forms, so it's your job to double-check everything matches. If you're missing a form, reach out to the company or entity that should have sent it. Let's move on to deductions, which are a great way to lower your taxable income and potentially reduce your overall tax bill. Claiming deductions requires solid documentation, and keeping track of your expenses throughout the year can make this much easier. Common deductions include mortgage interest and property taxes for homeowners, classroom supplies for teachers, charitable donations with receipts, and even certain medical expenses if they exceed a percentage of your income. Other deductions might involve retirement account contributions or state and local taxes you've paid. Keeping receipts and detailed records is the best way to ensure you're fully prepared when it's time to file. Now let's talk about tax credits, which are even better than deductions because they directly reduce the amount of tax you owe. Some popular credits, like the child tax credit or education credits, require specific forms, such as a 1098 for tuition payments. Others might involve proving your eligibility with receipts or detailed spending records. Because tax credits can make a big difference in your refund or tax liability, it's worth taking the time to ensure you have all the necessary documentation ready to go. You'll also need proof of payments, like records of any estimated tax payments you made throughout the year or income tax withholdings shown on your W-2. If you've received letters from the IRS about tax credits or other issues, be sure to include those too. And for anyone who's self-employed, keeping receipts is crucial. These are necessary for claiming business expenses on Schedule C. Just make sure the expenses are ordinary and necessary for your line of work. While these are the main categories most people need to think about, everyone's financial situation is unique. Depending on your circumstances, you might need additional documents or forms. It's always a good idea to check the IRS website or consult with a tax advisor to make sure you're covering all your bases. By taking some time now to organize your documents, you'll make the filing process much smoother when the deadline rolls around.